Hey guys, thank you for joining my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I've decided I wanted to go ahead and dissect a little bit of this magazine before I do something with it. I don't know what I want to do with it yet. I don't even remember buying it. I collect things for like Lucille Ball and the Queen and of course Princess Diana and people's most influential people in the world, things like that. But I don't remember getting this book at all, as I've said before in another video. But this one's it's about Meghan Markle. It's called Town and Countries with her specials in it. Hearst, her specials in it. It's called A Prince's Tale. American Princess is what it's called. Jeez. And she calls herself a princess throughout this whole book. So, and I would say she calls herself a princess because I feel like she had a hand in writing it. Although this editor-in-chief at the time was Celine Volandes. I hope I said that right. In her early years, it says she was proven to be a star. She proved she was an actor on stage. She won all her classmates and her teachers, and that she spent 10 years on the set of Married with Children, but her dad protected her from inappropriate kind of behavior on set. He would send her to like crafts or maybe dressing or whatever, so she didn't have to hear the adult themes that was going on in the show. And I think that tells a lot about her dad. She was described as being talented, wildly talented, quote unquote, kind and compassionate, and that she would ward off bullies for people who were being bullied. There was no particular story in that. One of her friends had noticed that being famous hasn't changed the ever generous or ever gracious Meghan Markle, and that she had a grounded nature from her strong upbringing, and that their family unit was close-knit, and that she did have biracial challenges, even though she got into the royal family, and she says she didn't know anything about being a black woman until she entered the royal family. But right here it says that in the magazines that her dad and mom did everything they could to protect her from what could have, what challenges she may face, and they raised her as being special and not so much different. So they kind of sheltered her away from being labeled biracial or whatever, and I can see that in her behavior. A Star is Born. It lists Doria as a clinical therapist and a yoga instructor. I knew about the yoga instructor, but it lists her dad. But Doria, I thought, was a travel agent, and it lists her dad as an Emmy-winning director of photography, which I thought he was a director of lighting. So there's that discrepancy. That she knew she wanted, as a young girl, that she wanted to become an actress, but she also wanted to get into politics because she doesn't want to be the typical LA girl. And she wanted to do something with substance, so she got into politics by going to the U.S. Embassy. When you're interning in a place like that, you're not learning about politics itself. You're really just copying papers and following them and running errands for this person and that person. Now, you may learn about politics through listening to certain conversations or reading certain titles on certain documents, but you're not there to learn about the politics itself. So I don't understand where that came in from. The story is told that a manager spotted her with a friend. The manager asked her friend about her, so her friend sent the manager a tape that Meghan had made in high school, and that the manager eventually ended up calling Meghan and saying, hey, you're going to be famous, you're going to make a lot of money, and I'll take 10%. Now, that 10% is quoted in the book, but I think that's more of a cartoonish type way, because if you're an acting manager, a talent scout, you're going to want to haggle that price because you want the most that you can get out of that person's acting or ability. It's not so much for the actor or singer or whatever. You're going to haggle that price. You're going to get as much as you can get. So that 10% is something we used to say. And say, hey, you did that, and I'll take 10% of that. And I remember playing with my brothers and sisters in that way. So I really just don't think that happened. It says also that Meghan's her screen test, had blown people away, and that they found the Rachel right away. That is not how I heard it. Just say. she said that before she ended up on Suits, she did a pilot every year that she went from Argentina in the U.S. Embassy to Deal or No Deal. And I think that's a very special childhood, very special upbringing. I would have loved to have been that diverse. But somehow she is not seeing it that way. Her other jobs, she didn't rest on just trying to become an actor. She did restaurant hostess, she did calligraphy, and she did a Dolce & Gabbana celebrity correspondent. I don't know about the correspondence. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's writing letters or interviewing other people. I have no idea. We'll see. I mean, it's not something I'm going to research. I'm just going by what the book said. When Harry popped the question, she did turn in her retirement, and that coincides with her Suits character Rachel and her counterpart Mike going off and getting married. And so there's that. As a global sentence, of course, she goes on with her soap, how she challenged the soap commercials. I don't really think it was her by herself. I think there was a lot of people that did not like the way that was worded, because I think her dad, what I heard was her dad had, what I read was her dad had set up the interview with Prince Ellery, and that he, kind of much made her feel like she had a hand in that, which also spoiled her, and that gives way to her attitude as it is now. That when she was 10 years old, her mom took her to Jamaica. Now, it does not give a context for this travel thing, but when you go to the slums of Jamaica, I mean, you're not safe. I wouldn't think you were safe there, so it's not something I would want my child to see. But I mean, that part's questionable. Slums of Jamaica, that's what she says, quote unquote. And that she had never seen such poverty, and that her family had given away Thanksgiving turkeys to homeless shelters, and that encountered her humanitarian work that started it. And this responsibility for the humanitarian work has started the TIG, which she wanted to talk about travel and beauty and food and things of that nature, and not so much just selfies. I don't remember the TIG very much. I don't remember reading it very often. I did see some pictures, and all I saw was selfies. So I don't know what she meant by that. In her past marriage, she met Trevor in 2004, and they got engaged in 2010. Now, her celebrity wedding dress that she was trying to copy was that of Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. Now, in 2011, there was a movie directed and written by Madonna called We, W.E. And it was a good movie. It was, for me, it was a very romantic movie. It was beautifully written. It was beautiful as far as photography was concerned. It's a woman's show. I mean, it's not groundbreaking. It's not earth-shattering or anything like that. She did a good job, Madonna did. I thought, but it talks about a modern-day Wallace, a woman named Wallace, who is fascinated with Wallace Simpson, also who she's named after, and she's trying to get away from an abusive husband, but she finds a museum guide that a guy that she falls in love with, and then she mails her engagement ring or wedding ring or whatever to her abusive husband. Now, this is what that's the story that Trevor has given, that out of the blue, he received his ring in the mail, and that's the only way he knew that it was over. He was very distraught with that. He kind of is like perturbed, and I understand. I completely understand. But the fact that she may have copied this movie, because it says they married in 2010, and again, this movie is from 2011, so there had to be some kind of copying there. There's a lot of copying, as far as Megan is concerned. Her girl squad included Jessica Maroney, which we know she's not with anymore. They had a falling out, and then Serena Williams is pictured, and the only commonality they had was that football tag, and that they were the same age. And Lindsay Roth, I have no idea who that is. Heather Dorock, I have no idea who that is. And then Misha Nanu, who is rumored to be one of the ones that have set Harry and Meghan together. Okay, Benita Litt was also part of her girl squad. which is bank curator and has worked with Netflix. And it also lists Priyanka Chopra, or Chopra. I love her, by the way. She's absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning. And Janina Kavankar. And one of the titles in this book, you will not believe this, but it's called Style Icon. And that when you are a princess, when you become a princess, in becoming a princess, pretty much, she says not only do you have to act like a princess, but you have to dress like a princess too. I did not see that when she was in the royal family. I just really did not see that for her. She does praise Catherine, who was Duchess of Cambridge at the time of this writing. She does praise Catherine for dressing her part, which I thought was very generous, considering all the other things she's done to Princess Catherine. But again, she's listing Catherine as a Duchess, which again was her title, but she's the princess. I'm confused. I really am confused. Okay, her personal style is neutral colors, tailored pieces, and relaxed and authentic. I don't see anything authentic about her. She's always copying someone, whether it's Catherine, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, or Princess Catherine, or Diana, or somebody else. She's always copying someone. Always, always, always. Harry's full name is, I do want to say this, it drives me nuts when people call him Harold. And I've seen a lot of people do it. His name is not Harold. I've known this since I was a child. In the 80s. His name is Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten Windsor. His name is Henry. I have no idea why they call him Harry. I have no idea. I do not know. There's also pieces called Royal Treatment and the Red Carpet, and all it does is just show some of her ridiculous outfits. Some people may like it. So some people may like the color scheme. I just don't like how they fit her. She is very into showing her shoulders, and even back then she did show a lot. It does recount that their engagement happened over a chicken dinner, as was told in their engagement interview, and that the people that are rumored to have set them up are the Mission Nonu, the Soho House consultant Marcus Anderson, and Violet Von Westinghouse, which was Harry's childhood friend. I have no idea what she would have had anything to do with it, but okay. Meghan admitted that the focus on her mixed heritage was disheartening and a shame. I don't remember anything said about her race as an engaged person into the royal family. I really don't. The first thing I remember her saying about race was what she said about Archie, was that people were concerned about Archie's skin color. But if a mixed woman, and my grandson Freckles has even said this, that if a mixed woman is going to marry a white man, well, it's just common knowledge that maybe, possibly, the color of someone's skin is going to change, and the royal family is just way too busy to worry about such things. So I thought he had a point. I thought that was something to think about. I really just don't think that she had a racial issue inside the royal family. I mean, if they're allowed to marry, why would they not have children? And if they're going to have children, why question the color of one's skin? Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's just over the top. Okay, and that Meghan tried to she decided to tune all the negativity out, which we know is not true, because every time somebody says something, she's copping back at everything. And that she was proud to be where she came from. Okay, save the date. It talks about her wedding and who's going to give her away, the cake, the dress. It doesn't give her many details, like everything's all hush-hush. Okay, her father wanted to walk her down the aisle, Thomas Sr., but she wanted her mom to do it. King Charles ended up doing it, who was Prince of Wales at the time. I have no idea why he would have done that, why he would walk a stranger down the aisle. I guess he felt he had some kind of bond with her at the time, I guess. But Charles stepped out of his way to be the father of the groom to walk this strange person down the aisle. I thought that was nice. Very something to think about in Charles's character. It was incredible to meet Harry meet the Queen, through Harry's eyes, she says. She's applauding the queen and all of this. And there's this cute little picture of Harry and the queen kissing on the cheek, maybe in meeting, or maybe in, as they're separating or whatever, like they're greeting each other. And I thought that was kind of sweet, but why would you mention the queen when you just treated her so horribly? Think about what you're doing. Just think about what you're doing. Okay, and then the magazine compared her to Diana through their humanitarian work, because she said that the Glenfell Tower Blaze, she went in the middle of the night to help the people suffering through that. I don't know what that is. I don't remember it. But Dinah did this like almost daily, would get up in the middle of the night and go see people at homeless shelters and things like that. So once does not make you the Princess Diana. I'm just saying. Chapter 4 is the last chapter. Oh, not to mention, the royal family paid for the wedding. It was like £500,000, and that's not including the security. Somebody paid £500,000 for my wedding. You think I'm not gonna laud them and just be like, "Oh, I love you"? £500,000 for a wedding. My wedding cost, it was in early 90s, but it cost roughly $150, the whole thing. And yes, I'm legally married. Think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing. The chapter 4 is the history of marrying into royal families, and of course it lists Wallis Simpson, it lists Grace Kelly, it lists a few other people, and Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth did marry a prince one time. Now at the time of this writing, which is Hearst, the Hearst, and it was 2000. It was published in 2018. At the time of this magazine, it was $13.99. I don't remember buying it. I don't remember where I was going with it. They had Harry and her had a 2017 engagement, which they got engaged 6 months after a 6-month courtship. And she said, at the moment, I see royal duties as change. I don't see it as giving up anything. And then her first marriage ended up in 2013. So that is that. Those are the inconsistencies I see. I thank you for joining me. I really hope that I entertained you with this. I'm having trouble recording anything, so I hope this goes through. Again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate any comment. I do suffer from ADHD and some type of anxiety, and I'm really, really gracious and really hopeful that I'll eventually get more likes and I'll get more comments to help me provide insight into how I am presenting myself. I'm really doing this as a self-help therapy to find out what it is that keeps me under this sort of cloud. I feel like that little boy that was always under a cloud in the Peanuts books. That's how I feel. And I'm kind of just really hoping that this helps me change a little bit, that I can speak louder and that I can get out there. So there's the hint in that. With that, I do want to help other people. But I do hope everybody has a wonderful day. I hope to see you soon, and we will chat at a later time. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Have a good day.